This week's podcast is about my plea for you all to be more self-compassionate. Self-compassion is way more important than self-confidence or lack thereof in being more successful and happy. All the research shows that really looking at your life, accepting the facts where you are and accepting that you're not perfect allows you to have decreased anxiety and depression. It makes you more optimistic, but it also makes you able to move forward. So I am Marishela Trembetska, and this is my Love Your Creativity and Make Money podcast. And this week I'm really feeling the need actually just to reach out and give you a virtual hug wherever you are, and also ask yourself to give yourself a virtual hug. While I'm recording this, yet more of the world is going into more stringent lockdown rules. We had a vote in the UK in the Parliament, and 322 Tory MPs decided to reject a further extension to free school meals for those children who really need it. And as we all know, coronavirus is hugely affecting everyone, but particularly those at the lower end of the income scale are being really affected right now, more than those who earn more and more likely to have white-collar jobs so can work from home and have better facilities to promote that. So I'm really angry about this. But what is really important, the reason I'm doing these podcasts, particularly so religiously once a week right now, is I feel that we all need to kind of have a virtual hug and hold on to each other and remind ourselves to keep getting through it, and also giving tips and techniques to do so. There's this idea that self-confidence is really important, which it is. Obviously, if you haven't got any confidence in your abilities and what you do, you definitely suffer. People respect people less and think you're less likely to be able to get stuff done if you don't have confidence. There's lots of negative things about not having a lot of self-confidence, but there's equally a fair few negative things about being overly confident, because self-confidence often means that you will ignore feedback and you don't change. Whereas if you lack confidence, you can see the problems clearly, but you probably won't feel like you're up to challenging how to change it. So self-compassion brings the advantages of self-confidence with also some of the advantages of the reality of being not that confident in what you're doing. It's so important to forgive yourself. Self-compassion completely allows you to look at your life and change it. I have a favourite quote actually by Daisaka Ikeda, who's the SGI president. Those of you who listen or know me will know I'm a Buddhist and I chant every day for world peace. I really do. And world happiness. But he has a quote that I love, which is, faith is realising where you are and triumphing over reality. And self-compassion allows you to do that. Because if you're not screaming and yelling at yourself that you're not good or you failed in this aspect or life is too hard, then you're able to come from more wisdom. So self-compassion is proven to make you happier and more optimistic, that you're more likely to take personal initiative and change where you need. It decreases neurotic perfectionism. The stats and research on self-compassion is so vital that just take my word for it, okay? You don't need all the stats. I've looked at them. So how do you become more self-compassionate to yourself? Right, first of all, talk to yourself nicely and gently. Don't be critical about where you've given up or where you could have done better. Just accept that you are fallible and accept that you're human. Basically, talk to yourself like you are a much-loved older relative. Maybe you've got a fantastic grandmother that hopefully she's still with you. Mine aren't. So talk to yourself like you're a really wonderful, kind granny or grandfather or older relative that, completely gently talk to yourself and lovingly talk to yourself. It's really important to do that, to forgive yourself. Now, the second stage of self-compassion after the talking to yourself in this really gentle, kind voice and accepting that you will fail, because we all fail at something. And that might be your actions, that might be where you feel like you're not stepping up, that might feel like you've really failed in various ways to do with or not to do with COVID right now. But the second stage of it is to recognise your failures and your frustrations and then do something about it. So it's not just enough to go, I accept that this has not worked the way I wanted it, and the world has created an environment that I felt like I can't really win. Forgive yourself, give yourself love for that. But then, and this is the important thing, go, where specifically could I have done better from a really supportive place? And what can I do to transform this? What can I do? Now, obviously, meditation and mindfulness, in my case chanting, also helps with this process. But honestly, daily self-talk of compassion for yourself and, of course, others. But it has to start with yourself, because if you're yelling at yourself or feeling frustrated or feeling depressed, it's really hard to support others. It's that idea of the oxygen mask, putting it on yourself before you give it to your child, which is kind of weird, but you understand you need to be strong. So I have been doing the gratitude every morning. So every morning before I get out of my bed, I literally think about 3 different things about what I'm grateful for, and they're different every morning. And sometimes it's literally about, stroking my bedroom wall and thinking I'm safe right now. I am completely safe right now. It can be anything. So I'm going to encourage you. So there we are. Self-compassion. I'm sending you love. I'm sending you strength. I'm sending you a hug. And whatever's going on around you, and I know, and I don't know when you're going to be listening to this, but just be aware that actually every time you yell at yourself or you're not, it doesn't help. It just stresses you out. And every time you're overly confident, you may not be making the changes you need. So there we are. Be self-compassionate, and I will speak to you soon. There's lots of other podcasts on all this kind of mental health thing as well as art, because right here and now, although my podcast is about creativity, and indeed I'm ongoingly being creative, and it turns out this has become one of my outlets. But it's just so important to keep your head and your balance, because as an artist and creative, you need to be able to, we do create sometimes from anger and pain and fear and love, but actually the daily action of getting your work done, and we all know how difficult it can be to practice your instruments every day or write the next book or try and sell a project. We know how hard it is anyway, irrespective of the wider COVID situation at the moment. So it has to start from a place of you being mentally as strong as you can and using techniques like self-compassion to completely ground yourself every day. So much love to you. You can find me on @Marisha T, Marysat, on Twitter and Instagram, Marisha Trembetska on Facebook. If you want to work with me as an actor, you'll be, and also listen to otherwise my Singing Psychic podcasts, etc., then all the links are in my blogs and Instagrams, etc., etc. And of course, if you want to book any as a unique, customised event, brilliant, that is the Singing Psychic, you know how to find me. I love her because she brings such joy to the world and to my audiences, and also to my heart by doing her. So she's really keeping me a little safe right now in this kind of closing part of 2020. So speak to you soon. I'm a fool to want you, such a fool to want you, to want a love not mine alone, to want a kiss others have known. It's a bit of I'm a Fool to Want You by Billie Holiday. Self-compassion is obviously making my heart sing. Love you guys.